Hey guys, JT Tran here, and today we have another special guest, Mehow, who is the host of Yahoo reality TV series The Girls Game. You heard that right. He is teaching girls how to pick up guys. Now, before we get more into that, Mehow, tell them, our audience, a little bit about yourself.
So I've been a pickup artist for 10 years, and the last couple of years I started coaching women a lot. I've written 8 books. I got a show on Yahoo called The Girls Game. We did the first season last year, got 5 million viewers, and now we just got renewed for a second season.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
Yeah, 24 more episodes, and actually production starts in 4 days. So in like 2 months there'll be many more episodes of The Girls Game for women to watch, and I'm really excited about the second season because it's different from the first season. We get a lot deeper. We have double the time. Like we used to have 5 minutes, now we have 10 minutes to focus on each woman that we're trying to help.
I mean, it's a major accomplishment because you're the first pickup artist that's got his own show after Mystery.
Yeah,
and it's for women.
And it's for women.
And that's amazing, right?
We have a bunch of stuff happening.
Yeah, because your understanding of the female psyche is to the point where you understand how to teach them.
Yeah,
exactly. You've gone beyond just teaching guys.
Yeah.
Nice. So speaking of, how would you teach a girl how to pick up a guy? What does she need to know? Like, if her female audience is watching this, what does a girl need to know if she's got her eye on a particular guy? What should she do to pick him up?
Right, so the first thing I always say is that personality beats the other P word, right?
Personality beats the, yes, okay.
Right? And what you want from a guy is you want him to fall in love with your personality before sex happens, because then you have control.
All right.
Right, so if he's in love with you, by the time you're having sex, you get to decide as the woman whether you're going to keep this guy or whether you want him for a fling or whatever. And surprisingly, it's like the conventional wisdom is that women all want to find the one and stuff, and they don't really. They're just like men. Like, it's a completely individual choice. There's really no broad strokes don't really apply. Like a lot of women at this stage in their life, if they're like 25, they want to date around. At 35, they might want to get a relationship. At 45, they're already out of the relationship and they want to play around again. Right?
Comes full circle.
So, I mean, I've already taught a lot of women live. Like, we've had actual seminars here where we've had women come in and spend an entire week with us. Yeah. And, it's amazing what the needs are of like the 45, 55, 65-year-old female population versus the 25, 35, but they all have needs. Yeah. Right? So, our question was like, what's the number one thing? Number one thing is you want to roll in with your personality first. So as a simple example of that, like a lot of women won't open, they won't talk to a guy.
Right, they expect a man.
Which actually I can sort of address as why you want to approach as a woman in a second. Okay. First of all, if you're meeting 4 guys a day, it takes way less time to meet the one. Like, most women are waiting around for the one, and we completely flipped that equation. You're like, you're meeting the one every day. Yeah. So after a month of doing that, you met a lot of guys, you're going to find somebody you really like. So you're going to have the option for a bunch of flings or a relationship or whatever you want. It's just like we're radically shortening that process. Whereas before it was a very passive process for women, we've turned it into a very fun, active process for women where they really are in charge of everything. Right,
because now they have selection, because otherwise, that's the thing about girls and guys. Like, as a guy, I can approach a girl that I choose, right? But a girl who's waiting around, if you're just waiting around, it could be any guy that approaches you, and it's probably not the guy that you want, right?
And I can sort of explain what the dynamics of that are, right? Like, because usually the type of guys that you do want are not the guys that are approaching you. So to get the guys you want, you have to approach. Right? So as an example of leading with personality as opposed to sex appeal, one of the one-liners we use is, instead of just starting a conversation all boring, like, hey, how are you, where are you from, you can just say, you know what? You're like the strong, silent type. Exactly the type of guy my mom warned me about. Right? And that's a great opener we use for women.
Really?
Yeah. And it works.
Because that, if a girl was coming to me, I'd be like, I'm impressed, but I'd be like, wow. It's like, I'd be kind of like stunned silent.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're a pickup artist. You'll be unstunned silent very quickly.
Right. I'm just like a typical guy.
For a typical guy, I'll be like, whoa, what's going on? Yeah. And now you're screening him. Now you're giving him the opportunity to be playful, right? The opportunity to come back at you. The biggest problem that women have with men, okay, let me back up. Let's talk about the dynamics of how to find the right guy, right? Because the problem is that the guy that approaches you is either going to be really bad at the approach or he's going to be a player.
Okay.
Do you as a woman want to be played?
Right.
Not really. Do you want to be talking to a guy who's like sloppy drunk or just doesn't know what to say or bores you? Right. No. There is this group of men in the middle. Like, guys, there are actually a lot of the guys that come into the pickup community So that guy in the middle, the guy that's neither the super chody dude or the super player dude, that's the kind of guy that a lot of women are looking for. They want that special guy that, like, you know, stimulates them emotionally. But usually that guy won't approach because he doesn't know how.
Right.
And he also doesn't know how to be playful, right? So with that one opening line, it's like you're the strong silent type. Exactly the kind of guy that my mom warned me about. Now you've opened him. Mm-hmm. Now he has an opportunity to come back at you with something playful or be boring, be like, oh, yo, hey, my name is Bob.
Right.
You know, or he could say, you know what, your mom didn't warn you enough. Right? Now you know it's on. Now you've created that playful teasing chemistry.
Yeah, so, the girl's giving him permission, right, to engage her.
Right. And we call that mirroring. It's like the type of communication that you want the guy to come back at you with, you give him a little sample. Mm-hmm. Right? And the guys that successfully pass the screening will essentially, you're secretly coaching them how to pick you up without being like, oh, I'm going to coach you how to pick me up now. You're giving them little bits of things that you would like to hear. But most of them aren't conscious of any of this.
Yes, obviously
right? They don't really know how to do this. Like once I explain it to them, they're like, oh. Yeah, we call that process, by the way, the process of secretly leading a guy to the pickup called ghost leading.
Oh,
it's like
very cool.
You're leading him, but he doesn't know he's being led.
Yeah.
Because really, for the chemistry to work, he has to pick you up as the woman, right? So what happens is we give you a process for doing that, and it's a screening process. Like a lot of men will fail, like half fail, but the other half that succeed do way better, right?
Right.
And this is why you really need to approach. And in our coaching, we teach women all these different ways to approach that are very sort of subtle and more not like direct in your face.
Oh, it's really cool because I can remember like back before I was into the pickup community, the girls that hit on me, they basically led. Like they hit me over the head, that they liked me, and then they kind of like led me by the hand because I was completely clueless.
But very, very few women do that naturally, right? Like very few women will do that. Right. And so what we're doing is, and we literally have 100% success rate doing this. It's like, because we started coaching like a lot of women about a year ago and no one fails. And we have some amazing stories. Like we've had, I mean, I don't want to share them with you because they're so mind-blowing, right?
Well, I mean, are there any stories that you can share, like, you know, on your show?
No, I mean, the second season I can't talk about.
Okay,
but
sure.
The first season you can check out. It's Yahoo Screen / The Girls Game. Mm-hmm. You can just search for it on Yahoo or on Google, actually. Just type in The Girls Game Mehow, and you'll get the first season. So I'll leave that as an exercise to the reader. But what I want to share with you some of the stories we've had recently, because they're really sort of completely like, I didn't even believe this was going to work out.
Right.
I mean, because it's like, what are the limits of the system, right? Because a lot of times we have people that appear what we call disqualified, right? Mm-hmm. They're either very overweight or way older than the type of guys that they're looking for as a woman. Right. We see this with the male population as well, where we have older guys trying to get younger women, you know, people that are out of their league. Right. But what we do is we just fix all that. We make it so that there's no such thing as out of their league. So we really push the limits. Like we've had some women that were very much older and very much overweight. Right? Like we've had a lot of that. And honestly, it's like, I mean, now that you have Mehow, you don't need weight loss, honestly. Because we've had like just, you know, no blowouts. Like they'll go out and just like number. We even had one woman who was literally like pretty much, you would call this very mousy. Like she's a very mousy 40-ish mom of two, right? Like just not, you know, on the women's beauty scale 1 to 10.
On the
somewhere in the middle, slightly higher middle, you know. Yeah. But she picked up a soap star. Nice. Yeah, look at that. And the guy was like riveted. He was the hunkiest. He was literally like a foot taller than her. This guy was like 6'6" and she was like 5'6". Right. He was the hunkiest dude in the entire bar. And like she just went in there and it was like an approach. Like what we teach men. It was just like an approach. And first she hesitated a bunch and she sort of like swerved around, walked around a little bit. Yeah, the vulture. Like, then we had to like go back in there and be like, no, this is what you do. And it was a 2-hour conversation. I wanted to go out with her the next day. Like it was on, and this guy was just like leaning in and all completely riveted. Very cool. You know, and then I mean, and it's been like that. No, I mean, I love. Once you have game, it's like, you know, if you think you're overweight, just, you know, game subtracts 100 pounds. Yeah, I mean, I love stories like that because it's like you're giving your student like a superpower to achieve what they've always wanted to achieve. So, I mean,
you know, this is like Hollywood, a young, attractive girl is probably not gonna have that too much difficulty. But you're helping like single moms and like older women.
It's not, because the first season of the Girls Game, we had a lot of young, attractive girls, right? Because that's kind of how Yahoo wanted to cast it, and we were like, okay, let's skew it sort of younger initially, and we had one older woman. The second season, you're gonna see a bunch of different ages. You can see some 20, some 30, some millennials, some 40, because we wanted to sort of expand the audience. And the thing with younger women that don't know what we know, that don't know the method, which we call it Spellbound, but that's the name of the method.
Sure.
For now. And so when they don't know how to spellbind the guy into loving them, right? Then what happens is they will lose the guys they really like, because what happens if you're really attractive, every dude wants to sleep with you.
Right.
So they will put up with whatever to sleep with you. Pretty much. Like, no guy's gonna be like, nah.
Just kick you out of bed.
Yeah, she's hot, nah. Right? So what's gonna happen is he's gonna sleep with you, but then what happens after? And you know this from being in pickup.
Yeah.
Like, guys always like, we hook up with the girl, and then we decide whether we want to keep her. What I'm doing is flipping that equation. Right? So if that guy's like completely in love with the girl's personality before she hooks up with him, now she gets to keep him. So that's the problem that young, attractive women have. Is they don't know how to roll out the personality.
Right. Well, it's like what you were saying before, you know, personality before the other P word.
The other P word, yeah. Personality always trumps that, because then you have choice, my dear viewer. So if you're a woman watching this, that was probably, hopefully that improved your life right there.
Yeah, that's great stuff. Even as a guy, I find that fascinating, because I always like to dissect like what women are thinking and doing. You know, it's always a process of trying to understand. And so the fact that you've broken it down into actual techniques that girls can learn, that's pretty amazing to me. So that's been some really great advice for girls.
Women.
Yeah, women. Now, how can our female audience, or even just guys just curious about the female psychology, how can they find more about you and your show?
So beneath the video, I'm going to give you links to Spellbound Formula. That's our introductory course that basically teaches women the basics of ghost leading and how to approach, and how to get guys to approach you, and how to, you know, meet the one way faster. So, you know, radically shortens the timeline before you're happy with your romantic partner. And then we're also going to have a link to the Girls Game, so you can check out the first season. And then when the second season starts rolling out, it's going to come out as the same URL on Yahoo screen. And then next year, we're actually going to be on the big TV too. So
nice.
I can't really talk about that yet, but I'm very excited.
When's the next season coming out? When's season 2?
So we start production literally on Tuesday. So I think the first episodes will be online about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
all right.
You'll get to enjoy them. And then if you want live training, then you have to get the Spellbound Formula, and so at least you have some basic understanding, and then inside that members area you can apply for live training, and then you can come right here to our house.
Yes. This beautiful Hollywood Hills mansion.
Yeah, and I can sort it for you without you even having to really think about it. So that's what we do.
All right, check it out, guys. All the links will be in the box, and be sure to check out season 1 and season 2 of the Girls Game. Thanks, Meow.
No problem. Thanks, JT.